I know we've all been disappointed by Kanye West, but it turns out he's not the only one who doesn't seem to understand slavery in America. A recent online survey found that only 8% of American high school seniors could identify slavery as the central cause of the Civil War. Yeah, and even worse, 10% say the winners of the Civil War was Captain America. That's scary. And this seems like an insane statistic. But when you see how some schools try and teach slavery, you'll understand why.
A homework assignment given out this week at a charter school in San Antonio has set off an uproar. The students were instructed to make a list of the negative and positive aspects of slavery.
This is the paper Robert LeVar's 8th grade son was given to fill out in a history class. You can see his son wrote "not applicable" on the side, labeled positive aspects, and wrote a long list of negative aspects. Robert says there's no excuse for this assignment.
Okay, first of all, that kid gets an A for life. That was amazing. Because that assignment is horrible. Like, that assignment is so bad, it almost seems like a trap to find the racist kids in class. It's like, okay, kids, what were the positive aspects of slavery? I know, cheap labor. Trick question, go to detention, you little grand wizard. And it gets worse, because these insane lessons on slavery have spread into other subjects somehow.
Gwinnett County parents are outraged tonight over 3rd grade math homework. It referenced slaves picking fruit and violence.
One problem said each tree had 56 oranges. If 8 slaves picked them equally, then how much would each slave pick? Then there was another. If Frederick got 2 beatings per day, how many beatings did he get in 1 week?
Okay. First of all, 2 beatings times 7, that's 14 beatings. But secondly, slavery is too serious to just casually drop into math problems. And by the way, I'm not just worried about how inappropriate those questions are. I'm worried about how it's escalating. Like, first it's just picking oranges, next it's beatings. You know, if the next question starts out with 8 men in white robes show up to Frederick's house, run! So look, obviously, these assignments aren't treating slavery with the weight it deserves. But it turns out some teachers go too far in the opposite direction.
A Bronx teacher landing in hot water for what she allegedly did to children during an assignment on the slave trade.
She singled out black students, told them to lie on the floor, and stepped on their backs to show them, quote, how it is to be a slave.
A controversial lesson about slavery has been pulled from a Cerritos high school.
A mother complained recently after getting this email. Staff would act as slave ship captains, the email described, and the children slaves. They'd use masking tape to tie their wrists together, make them lay on the ground, and in a dark room, have them watch a clip from the film Roots.
What the f, people? Imagine how confusing that is for a child. Because on the one hand, getting tied up is terrifying. On the other hand, getting to watch a movie in school is sweet as hell. Like, if you asked 8-year-old Trevor to get an ass whipping to watch Jurassic Park in science class, I'm taking that beating. It's not right. And you have to admit, that lesson was historically accurate, I guess. You know, slave captors did tie up Africans, load them on boats, and then had a movie night. The Africans were like, move your chains, I can't see the screen, this is my favorite part, huh? Nobody puts baby in a corner, And look, I know some people say, Trevor, no, these teachers they're just trying to be creative in how they teach. And I get that. But here's my question. How come teachers only seem to get creative like this with slavery? Right? It doesn't happen with any other historical subject. Like they're never like, hey, Connor, because you're Irish, I'm going to take away your lunch so you can learn about the potato famine. They never say that. And then also this thing of like justifying bad things in history. You know, you never hear of teachers asking kids to write an essay on why the iceberg was good for the Titanic, or asking for 3 reasons why those people deserve to be eaten by Jeffrey Dahmer. Like, all I'm saying is, if you're going to teach slavery that way, teach it all the way. Or at the very least, if you're going to teach slavery this way, end the lesson on a high note. You know, if you tie the kids up and make them watch Roots, then afterwards, they get to watch Django Unchained and whip the teacher's ass.